Did you know Super Awesome Mix has an app? Go to the Apple App Store today and download Super Awesome Mix. It's free. You could start creating and sending your own digital mixtapes in just a few clicks. Also, there's links to our Instagram account and a link where you can follow your favorite podcast. Speaking of which, welcome back to another Super Awesome Mix. My name is Matt Sidholm, alongside my co-host and co-founder of Super Awesome Mix, Samer Abu Salbi. Samer, how are we doing this week?
I'm doing real well, thank you. Today we have our first follow-up mix from Season 1, and you know what? I think it absolutely rocks, and why wouldn't it? Because it's Volume 2 of Women Who Rock.
Yeah, this is definitely, we say this all the time on mixes, that we could definitely create multiple volumes of this. We could definitely create multiple volumes of that. But, so I imagine this is the first of many kind of volume 2s and maybe beyond that of some of these themes, because I do think we've said it multiple times around some of these themes that, there's so many other songs out there.
So many. Yeah, unbelievable. And this mix in particular, we always listen to them, or I always listen to them at least once or twice before the recording, especially if I'm unfamiliar with the music. This is one where it's like, again, one of those special ones where I've listened to it like 3 or 4 or 5 times already, and like on walks and just like working. It is a really excellent mix. We both have some very strong picks. As I always like to say, we both understood the assignment this week. So I hope all of you listeners out there enjoy. And of course, you can always reach out to us on our Instagram at Super Awesome Mix. We love to hear your thoughts on these picks as we get into them. And, which songs didn't make the cut that you think absolutely need to be there. So be sure to follow us there. We have a lot of fun. It's a great community to join.
Yeah, so without further ado, let's get into it. Volume 2 of Women Who Rock.
All right. Well, we're starting off with your first pick. And I got to say, honestly, I think it's my favorite one. So starting off real strong here on this mix. And you went with Los Ageless by St. Vincent.
Yeah, Dallas's own St. Vincent, real name Ann Clark. She's always had such a cool vibe about her. And I picked this song because I really like the clever title. Obviously, it's a dig at Los Angeles. And that's really what kind of the theme of this song is, right? So the sound, I think, really is a good representation of a lot of her music. And then I just love the songwriting. I called out one of the lyrics, "Oh my Lord, we really did it now. I'm a monster and you're my sacred cow." Just like,
that's amazing.
Yeah, she really just, the false looking life that I guess, the Hollywood life, quote unquote, that you sometimes hear about. She's really going at it with this song. So thought it was really well done, but I also think musically it's a good representation of what she does, and she's got a ton of great music out there.
Yeah, this song rocks like so much. I loved it. I've listened to it on repeat really since you introduced it to me. I even noted here this might be my favorite song you've ever introduced me to across all mixes.
Wow. Oh my gosh!
I know, because I was not familiar with
Goodness.
It's never going to get better than this moment for you, Matt. This is
All-timer. This is it. We're only in Season 2. It's not even like, look, this is our 10,000th episode, and you've finally done it, No.
You've done it. Well, it'll hold a spot for now. We'll see. Okay. We'll see if you can top yourself. But this is a really good one. Yeah, it is just an amazing rock song. The lyrics are so good. She does not hold back against the city of Los Angeles and kind of the stereotypical, often sadly correct views of that city. The lines that I really liked are kind of early in verse 1, where she says, in Los Angeles, the winter never comes. In Los Angeles, the mothers milk their young. And just such rich imagery with that line, right? That it's like, I guess really going after the people who kind of just like groom their children for stardom and for their own purposes. And pretty harsh lyrics here, but such a good rock song. So really nice pick. Well done.
Yeah, this might fall into that category of like the lyrics don't quite match the cool vibe of the song, right? Like you're really digging the song, and then it's like, okay, it's a little harsher than maybe I thought, but yeah. All right, so let's go to your first pick, and everybody is on this song, I think, over the last couple months, and you know why? After I tell you the title, "Running Up That Hill," parentheses, "A Deal with God" by, of course, Kate Bush.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I've been shopping for a reason to include this song in one of our mixes. There's no way it's been talked about enough, Matt. I'm just trying to bring it back up because I think Stranger Things, like, they helped her a little bit, but like this
A
show is
little
gonna really
bit.
it's gonna
Yeah.
put her over the top, I think.
Yeah, it's the super awesome mix bump that she's looking for. It's not the Stranger Things
Exactly.
bump. Yeah, there's no
No.
doubt.
But yeah, I mean, like most of the world have also become obsessed with this song. I still enjoy it. I just think like, oh, what a great pick. And it's so amazing. We always talk about, like, Matt and I get annoyed whenever you read, and maybe you're like us, you read these like creator stories of people who've suddenly, who've become very successful, and they talk about this like, oh, just one morning it was like this big success. And like that really never happens, right? Like it's a lot of work to get to that point, even if it was a so-called overnight. Like there are years of prep. But I have to, like, this is kind of fun for Kate Bush because I have to imagine literally one morning she woke up and was like, whoa, what happened? Why is my song, why is my 30-year-old song suddenly charting and everyone is listening to it?
Yeah,
That's a
there's
pretty
no doubt.
special thing.
Yeah, there's no doubt there was definitely that moment where I was like, wow, this is really a thing. Yeah, and it started to get just some regular radio play too. I know, my kids are a little young to watch Stranger Things, and but this song came on the radio, and even my daughter, who's 9, was like, "Hey, what is this? Who is this person?" And I was like, "Oh, it's Kate Bush," and she's like, "This is a great song." And so just even by itself, she didn't even have the Stranger Things context to kind of pull her in. Just hearing the song for the first time, she was really into it. So
That's
definitely
awesome.
cool. Yeah, definitely cool from that sense that people definitely have the attachment to the show with it. But even I think some people are just discovering not just this song, but probably a lot of Kate Bush songs just based on this.
Yeah, no, totally. And I think that that's, we've talked a lot about music in movies and in TV shows and the power that it has to like introduce people to songs in mass. And so I was very happy to be introduced to this one because she is so talented. This song is just like, I think it's going to have a lot of staying power going into the future because it is just so good. And yeah, I've been obsessed with it. So very happy for Stranger Things to introduce us, the whole world to Kate Bush and her greatness. Apparently, it was Winona Ryder who really pushed for this pick too. So she's kind of the champion of why the song made it on that show.
That
But
would make
let's
sense. That would make sense. Yeah.
yeah, I could see that, right? Yeah, growing up with her. All right, track 3, Come On" by Sheryl Crow.
Okay, I'm just gonna get it out of the way first. My least favorite Sheryl Crow song is "All I Want to Do," and I'm like I have multiple Sheryl Crow albums. Like I'm a big fan of her work, and so if anyone's out there rolling their eyes, just being like, Sheryl Crow," because you only know like some of the radio hits, dig into her catalog because she's got so many great songs. This was I think, a lead single off one of her albums entitled Come On." And I just thought it was a good representation of like a really cool rock song and just some of her songwriting. But I think she just has a ton of great songs. I think there's a ton of them I could have picked here. But yeah, I mean, she's got such an amazing voice. But yeah, again, all you ever hear is "All I Want to Do," and I just can't stand that song. So I'm just going to get that out of the way so people kind of understand where I'm coming from.
I haven't heard a word that you said because I've just been singing that chorus in my mind over and over since since you
Man,
mentioned that.
that's what I
So
didn't want to do,
yeah,
man.
I'm so sorry. I'm because all I want to do, Matt, is have some fun.
Yeah,
Okay,
you
so
do. You
and
do
I've got a
say that a
feeling
lot, just in regular
that I'm not the only
conversation.
one. It's
Yeah,
true. I
you're
bring
not.
that up.
You're not.
I'm not the only one. You're right. I really don't have like a deep knowledge of Sheryl Crow's catalog, so this is one that I had not heard before, but I really like it. I love the lyrics here, and it's funny. I can relate to this idea of like a relationship that you just keep coming back to that is not a good one to come back to. I love the bridge. Like, you took the best of me and threw it away. Too bad the rest of me still wants you to stay. And I just like, that's so relatable, right? Like sometimes we have these bad relationships and like, you want to leave and it's the right thing to do, but you just keep finding yourself right back there again.
Right.
For whatever reason. So I really liked it. Yeah, I think the songwriting is great, and I think her singing it is awesome, and definitely deserves to be on the Women Who Rock mix.
All right, now your next pick. This is a band you've been talking about just offline for the last several weeks, so I'm glad you got them on a mix. You've got "Burning" by the Yeah Yeah Yeahs.
Yeah, I think this is gonna be like my next Florence and the Machine like obsession. It's just gonna we're gonna do like mixes of like song band names that begin with three Y's. And I'll be like, oh, I got the perfect one. So yes, they have a new album coming out. The vocalist and pianist here, Karen O, is why this song made the Women Who Rock, because she absolutely rocks. She is an amazing rock star. This song in particular has just been on repeat for me since its release. I listen to it at least once a day. Really excited for the rest of the album. Only 2 singles at the time of this recording have been released, so can't wait to play that whole album. And again, if you follow us on Instagram, I'm sure I'll be talking all about it. You'll get tired of it. Really like, I mean, I just love the piano play in this song. I think it's so strong. It's basically like 4 notes that repeat throughout it, but it just works so well. And I love the chorus, you know, her singing "Into the Sea, Out of the Fire, all that burning." And then there's like some, I think, violin play that kicks in. I mean, it is just like such a well-produced song, and cannot wait for this to come out.
So I was not familiar, even though you keep talking about them, I still haven't gotten around to like, all right, let me jump into their catalog. So listening to this song, I really like the piano intro, but then about a minute and a half in is when it kind of kicks in this song. And yeah, from that point on, I was just all in. I was like, this is a great song. This is really cool.
Yes.
So really love the vibe of this one and the sound of it. So I'm definitely going to be, you know, doing a deeper dive into their catalog to see if I can become as big a fan as you are.
Nice.
I don't know if that's possible, but I'm going to try.
Yeah, we'll see. And this is a great song too, in terms of like the lyrics that I still can't work out what they mean, and I'm okay with that. I almost would rather have songs that I don't know what they're singing about, so that I could just make it about whatever I want it to be. So that's great. But if you know what these mean, you know, if you've got an insider tip, be sure to reach out. Let me know. But all right, let's move on to track 5 here. Your next pick. And you went with "According to You" by Orianthi. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that right.
Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah, I think that's right. She's an Australian guitarist, and she's incredible, like just as a guitarist. And so this was probably her biggest pop hit, probably that's out there. And but she's performed, like just from a guitar standpoint, she's been on stage with Alice Cooper, even Michael Jackson when he was still alive. She was like a prodigy. And I guess when like Steve Vai or Carlos Santana had rolled through Australia when she was like 18, she got a chance to like jam with them. So, I mean, and if you listen to this song, once it gets to the guitar solo, it's just like, oh my God, like this is ridiculous. Yes. But it's a really cool song too. I really like the message in this one. You know, it's like just the, you know, according to you, I'm terrible, but according to him, he loves everything about me, right? And so it's kind of really well done, kind of this, you know, FU song to this, you know, ex of hers. So,
right.
But yeah, I really put it on here because I was looking for a song. Well, one, I do like the message, but I just wanted to highlight her guitar playing. I'm just like, she's incredible.
Oh, it's so good. It's funny. I feel the way she feels about this person. Like whenever I get like a 1-star review and a 5-star review, I'm like, well, according to the 5-star review, I am awesome. So 1-star review person, you know nothing.
Yeah, so people out there, leave us some 5-star reviews, but on the off chance that we get a bad review, just know we'll be listening to this song. Yeah.
Exactly. This is what's going to get us through those dark times. Yeah, I really like this song. It had like a Pink vibe to me, right? Like it kind of sounds like a song like Pink would sing. So just absolutely rocks. She's awesome. I was not familiar with her either. A lot of your picks I wasn't familiar with, which is always fun to kind of like find some new music. So this is really good. I like it a lot.
Nice. All right, your next pick. You've got "Anywhere with You" by Maggie Rogers.
All right, so shout out to Jen, one of our wonderful co-hosts on the Super Awesome Mix Network. She has her own show, What Are You Listening To? Be sure to follow that if you aren't already. She introduced, I think, certainly me, and I think maybe you as well, Matt, to Maggie Rogers. And Maggie Rogers has a new album that it just recently released called Surrender. I literally text Jen once a week being like, Jen, I'm still listening to this album. It is so good. I cannot get enough. It was a hard job for me to pick a song off of the album. I think this is, any of them could have gone on here, so I went with Anywhere With You. I am like just obsessed with Maggie Rogers as a human being too. Like she literally graduated from the Harvard Divinity School earlier this year in May of 2022. And hopefully she listened to our graduation mix when she did, because I'm sure she's a listener.
I'm sure she did.
Yeah. It's a great mix. But yeah, like she has this really interesting story. Like she was basically kind of discovered by Pharrell, like playing this song while she was at NYU, and then her career just kind of started to take off from there. And she absolutely deserves it because she's super talented and she absolutely rocks. So very excited to have been introduced to Maggie Rogers. And I've been listening to her nonstop and will continue to into the future.
I agree. This is awesome. It's right up my alley. She's just a great songwriter. Like the lyrics that I called out immediately: "Roll the windows, kill the radio. I'd rather hear the wind than that song I'm supposed to know by some effing bro." And I edited that. She actually says the word there. I just went ahead and edited it. But yeah, I mean, I just love that. I'm like, this is really good. And I think the songwriting really stood out to me. But yeah, she's super talented. I'm sure she's going to be on a number of mixes in the future.
Absolutely, yeah. And I literally wrote that line too to share as well, because her delivery of it is perfect too.
Yeah.
And I think that's like the other gem of her songs is like she just will throw a line in there that is like, whoa, okay, like that was pretty awesome. Okay, cool. Track 7, All American Girl by Melissa Etheridge.
Yeah, so I mean, I include Sheryl Crow. I was like, Melissa Etheridge came to mind, and I was like, all right, what should we include here? A song like "Am I the Only One" or "I'm the Only One" that was a big hit for her, and that definitely rocks. But I wanted to dig in a little bit more to her catalog and find something that maybe was off the beaten path. So found this song, "All American Girl," and it's from an album in 1993 called "Yes I Am." But yeah, I mean, the lyrics don't really match the upbeat nature of the song. Like it's kind of a, hard driving rock song, but it's really about this woman struggling in, as Melissa Etheridge calls it, this man's world. But, I just think like her voice, adds like this emotion to the whole song. Like there's a mix of like strength and kind of hope. Even though like the situation is a little bleak, I like the fact that I feel like the music in this and just the sound of her voice gives you a little hope for this person while you're listening to the song. But yeah, just called out this one. But I mean, she's got a ton of great like rock songs, kind of in the same vein as Sheryl Crow. Is like you may not like the stuff you've heard on the radio, but it's definitely worth kind of going back through all the albums they've done and finding some good stuff.
Yeah, I knew Melissa Etheridge. I did not know this song in particular. I had the exact same take on the lyrics, whereas like, again, like the song rocked, and then I started reading the lyrics, and I was like, oh, this is kind of rough. Like it's a sad kind of setup, and unfortunately, like one that is all too real for a lot of people. Where it's like it is a struggle to make all these things work in your life, especially when like the odds can be against you. But I agree. I do think that there is like a hopefulness to it despite all of that. And I think that like my reading of it is like that is like the American part of like the All American Girl. It's like this desire to like push against what, against your boundaries and keep going and have that strength to do it despite all the challenges in front of you. So yeah, it's like it's a really interesting song in that way. That was like my take on it. Is like despite everything going on, like you push through. And yeah, having all that wrapped up with her gorgeous voice and this rock song makes this a very strong pick.
Nice. All right. Your next pick, you went with Clearest Blue by Churches.
Yeah, Churches with a V. Yes, I really like Churches. They kind of remind me of Metric in a way, which is another band I believe. Yeah, Metric was on our volume 1 of Women Who Rock. So this is Lauren Mayberry on lead vocals, and I just I love her voice. Like her voice is the band. I know that happens a lot with bands, of course. Like the lead vocals really kind of set the tone, and this is certainly one of those. But I just love how this song builds. I love like the electronic sound that it has. I could absolutely listen to this nonstop on repeat. Like I think it's one of these ones where, as I was listening to it, even this morning before this recording, I found myself turning the volume up, and I feel like Like if we ever wanted to make that mix, it's like songs where it's like you start low and it's like you literally can't help yourself. You just have to turn it up because it's so good that you need to experience it louder. And this was one of those. So that's why it made the mix.
Nice. Yeah, I definitely like the sound of this one. I was not familiar with Churches, but I feel like it had kind of a modern feel, but I also get kind of throwback, kind of Brit pop vibes from it while I was listening to it. So I was really into that because I'm a big fan of that Brit pop era, especially that '90s stuff. And yeah, I was just like, man, this is really it's a cool sound. About 2 minutes in, this thing really picks up. So I think that speaks to your, as the song goes along, you want to keep turning it up. I think they pick up the pace about 2 minutes in. That probably lends itself to your desire to do that. But yeah, just a great song. I really thought it was pretty neat. And so that's another band that I'll probably have to listen to a little bit more and get into more of their stuff.
Nice. All right. Well, speaking of a group that, or a musician that I certainly knew nothing about, and I'm so happy that now I know exists. Your next pick, number 9, Default Shell by Khaki King.
Yeah, so I discovered Khaki King when I was looking for epic guitar solos when we did that mix because her name kept coming up as like this amazing guitarist. Now, I didn't think any of her songs necessarily fit that mix, but then when I was like, all right, women who rock, I was like, yeah, I think this is something we could put on here. And I think this song is just, shows you can see you can hear the skill level in her playing in this song, and it's just unreal how skillful she is. Digging into her career, it's like she worked with Eddie Vedder on the Into the Wild soundtrack. She's toured with Foo Fighters and the Mountain Goats. So, the more I dug into it, it seems like she's a musician that other musicians know, but she may not have a big public facing image. It's kind of like she's like the female Tim Reynolds, right? And Tim Reynolds kind of came to fame when Dave Matthews started just bringing him on every tour, and everyone was like, "Who's that guy?" Right? And but he was a guy that I guess everyone in the music world kind of knew as this unbelievable guitarist, and now he's sort of just part of Dave Matthews Band, but. Just an incredible talent. Most of her songs are instrumentals, but it's just got this really cool vibe to it. So I definitely would recommend you go checking her out.
Yeah, oh my gosh. I hit play on this one and immediately I was like, wait, what is happening? This is so cool. It was like I was like, this reminds me of like Spanish guitar meets Mumford and Sons or something,
Yeah.
Like it's unbelievable how her fingers can move on that guitar. Like it's so good.
It's ridiculous. Yeah. You can't
is.
even believe that it's not like a machine creating these sounds.
Right. Yeah, Catherine Elizabeth King is her full name. And wow, she rocks. Yeah, really nice pick. I was so happy to be introduced to this song as well.
Okay, your next pick. You went with Whirring by The Joy Formidable.
All right. Literally one of my all-time favorites. I thought about putting on my Desert Island mix so long ago, now more than 2 years ago, because it's a song I come back to over and over again. It's also the song that like created the desire for me to have like a build-up mix, like this idea of a song that starts kind of softer and then just like crescendos at the end and is total madness and craziness. This is that song that I would listen to for that purpose. And I was like, I bet there's other songs out there that are like this. And so lead singer Ritzy Bryan is the reason that this is a Women Who Rock pick. She absolutely like kicks ass on this song. It is so good. I think, like the last 4 minutes roughly are nothing but just guitars and drums that just keep going and going and going. I also use this whenever I run as like my go home song. So if I'm the last like mile or so to go, it's perfect for that because you just find yourself like I'll time it kind of in my mind like every 30 seconds roughly I'll go a little bit faster and a little bit faster, so that by the time you hit minute like 6 something, whatever the length of the song is, it's really long, you're just all out sprinting and it works with the music. So yeah, oh my goodness, I love it. And she lends just beautiful vocals on top of it in the beginning of the song.
Yeah, I found this song at the beginning just almost to be a little bit unnerving. Like it had this just kind of constant snare drum. I think that's what was getting me. And then you're right, it just slowly picks up, and then you're right, the last 3-4 minutes it's just this crazy, musical solo kind of thing, like this guitar is going on and on. So yeah, it's really pretty cool here. But the lyric I called out is all these things about me you never can tell. You make me sleep so badly, invisible friend. I was like, wow,
Yes.
that's a really like unnerving kind of line, like right, like and so I don't know. There was something about this song that kind of got me, but I was definitely into it. And I think that speaks to a good song, even if it does. Anytime it makes you feel anything, I think that's a sign of a good
Yes.
song. But yeah,
Exactly.
here you can definitely kind of feel the emotion and like what's going on, and then you kind of get this explosion at the end. So yeah, I mean it was really cool.
Awesome. Okay, down to I was gonna say down to the wire. Here we go. The last song, "The Wire" by Haim.
Yeah, so if you listen to the show regularly, you know I in 2022 I've conceded to adding Haim and Macklemore to just my regular rotation of songs. Right, we all have a regular
Mm-hmm.
rotation of artists we go back to, and these two have made the rotation for me in 2022. So I was definitely going to include them on this Women Who Rock mix. Um, it's all, this is off their first album, and I think it's just a great representation of again what they do vocally, where they harmonize together and just do all those cool things with their voices. But then, you definitely get some guitar and just kind of a cool rock vibe to this. It's funny, the first time I heard this song, it immediately reminded me of the Eagles. And sure enough, they sample Heartache Tonight in this, which is why it reminded me of the Eagles. But
Nice.
if you listen to this and you're kind of like, what is that? That sounds familiar. That's what it is. It was actually a sample, but you don't think of samples sometimes when you think of rock bands, but sometimes it's there. But anyway, it's yeah, just a really cool song. But again, I've been touting their whole catalog this year, so definitely go and just listen to all their music.
Yeah, exactly. I have Jen to thank for this one too, because she again reminded me at least that it's like, oh right, Haim like really rocks. So they have some great songs. And their music videos are a lot of fun. We've talked about them before. It's literally them just kind of like running around Los Angeles. And yeah, they're so musically talented. I watched them perform at the Grammys a couple years ago, and they're a great rock group, like just a great rock group. And yeah, these three sisters are certainly not done making music. I think for many many years, and I'm excited to keep listening to what they have next.
All right, your last pick. You went with Either Way by Bully.
Yeah, this one is really cool. This actually came as a recommendation from one of our Instagram followers. So again, like we get a lot of music recs from listeners just like you who follow us on Instagram. We really appreciate that. So Bully was someone DM'd me to like introduce me to Bully, and I just fell in love. I was like, oh my goodness, this singer, known as her real name is Alicia Bognano. She signed with Sub Pop Records. She is, I mean, it's like a punk album in a way, but it's like a modern punk or something, if that's a thing, because it doesn't sound exactly like old punk, but oh my gosh, I love it. It kind of reminds me of like early or mid Blink 182 days. She has an incredible voice. This song just like rocks so hard. The guitar like solo in it is amazing. It is, yeah, like such a great, and this song in particular off of this album, I would also recommend listening to Feel the Same, which opens up the album. It's excellent song. But yeah, I've just been listening to it nonstop, so I really appreciate the recommendation. And absolutely had to add it to our volume 2 of Women Who Rock.
Yeah, her voice and the way she just kind of lets it go kind of reminded me of either like a Joan Jett or Janis Joplin kind of thing. So yeah, definitely a cool vibe, and it definitely rocks. It's a short song. It's only like 2 minutes long,
Mm-hmm.
but it's great. And I thought this was perfect for the last song because the line says, "I want you anyway, even if you can't stay." And it's the last song. We can't stay. We're done. We're done with this mix,
Right.
even though we know the listeners want more. Right? Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, good news. We have 2 full seasons for you to discover and go back and listen to over and over again.
That's right. But for today, there's another super awesome mix for your collection. This time, our first volume 2, Women Who Rock. So we'll get to work on our next mix, whether it's an original or another volume of something we've done in the past. But for Sammer, this is Matt, and we'll see you then. Super Awesome Mix is brought to you by DLM. Make shopping easy with DLM, the one-stop shop for all your casual clothing needs. Shop DLMsupplyco.com and enter the promo code AWESOME at checkout to save 15% off your first purchase. That's DLMsupplyco.com.